Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be talking about one of our favorite altcoins, Hedera Hashgraph HBAR. In fact, it's my largest position in the cryptocurrency space, and despite the recent price action, we are still up significantly on our HBAR position. So perhaps it's easier for me to stand steady in the face of this pullback. But, having that in mind, our average entry, I think, on Hedera is around about 7-8 cents. I know many of you got it significantly lower. It was 4 cents only a couple of months ago. Today, it currently sits at 19 and is going through what seems to be a pretty severe pullback if you were to weigh it up against traditional markets. However, what I want to do in this video is one of two things really to start the video off, and that is take a look at price action to begin with, to offer some thoughts. First of all, in regards to the HBAR chart, and then in regards to actually what the path to making great returns in the cryptocurrency space is filled with. And we'll be looking at Cardano in the prior bull market and, of course, Ethereum, which has a market cap or had a market cap the same as what Hedera has today at the start of the last bull market. It went from about $8 billion to, essentially $500 billion. And I think HBAR could have a similar journey on its hands, and it's doing very much the same thing that all altcoins do in bull markets, and that's they have these brutal pullbacks, but everyone wants the high returns. Nobody's willing to sort of endure the volatility that essentially offers those kind of returns. So that's what we're going to be doing to kick the video off. And then I'm going to be playing a couple of clips. One is from blockchain, AI, and quantum computing kind of conference that Lehman spoke at, where he spoke about what Hedera is addressing in regards to this arena. Now, this is just one thing that Hedera is doing. And it's a massive thing. It's exceptionally important in regards to the future that we're moving towards. He mentions NVIDIA and Intel and how they are. So NVIDIA, largest company in the world, or second largest, obviously, since the DeepSeek incident, literally leveraging Hedera to solve real issues when it comes to the real world in the form of quantum computing. And then actually SealQ and WiseKey, they gave their speech at the NASDAQ when they listed. And they actually spoke about this kind of semiconductor chip that they're using to revolutionize the world. And that runs on Hedera. And of course, we know WiseKey and SealQ are actually working with SpaceX and actually implementing this technology in their kind of satellites, which is insane. The largest companies in the world are literally working with Hedera. In fact, I'll go a step further than that. They actually govern the Hedera network. Meanwhile, people are scared. The masses are in complete fear, and the world doesn't know about Hedera yet, and it's our job to make sure that they do. And we don't hide, guys. There's a lot of people out there that will say something and they'll renege on it. I'll double down on days like this when the price action is down. Hedera has an insanely bright future ahead of it. We told you that when it was at 4 cents. We told you that when it was at 40 cents. We're telling you that now when it's at 20 cents running back into resistance. And we'll be telling you that when it's in the multiple dollars. That's my true opinion. And of course, you guys make your own mind up. We're not financial advisors, but do your own due diligence, of course. Let's talk about some price action. And let's look at it from the kind of HBAR chart point of view. We have always suggested that it was possible, in fact, probable in regards to how we look at the markets. There was a small continuation that it sort of failed to the downside out of. But once you break into what we look at as phase 2, which is an uptrend, it's very often that you go back and you retest prior resistance, now flip to support. And this isn't just going to act and already acted as recent support that Hedera will lift up off of and continue in phase 2. This is a very key level of historic support for Hedera Hashgraph that I am an absolute believer it will bounce off of and see that continuation on the back end of. We will do a more in-depth video on the back end of this. And of course, Hedera, since its local high, is down significantly. At one point, it ran to nearly 40 cents. Today, it's around about 45% down. Now, I'm still up on my HBAR bag, having accumulated the majority through this range here, which we identify as a phase 1 on a cumulative range. So maybe it's easier for me to come out and say all of this because I'm not sort of panicking emotionally. But I believe this is going to bounce here in a very common fashion and see that continuation. And this pullback, what seems very unnormal, people always weigh the cryptocurrency space up and they look at it as a traditional risk asset. It's not, it's crypto. Understand that this asset class inherently brings volatility. And if you can't handle that heat, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do everybody else a favor, and leave the kitchen. You don't have to invest in crypto, guys. If you see the potential in it, you can. If you don't, don't. It's that simple. And understand what it is you're dealing with before you start to deal with it. Look at Cardano. Now, Cardano was something, reference my YouTube channel, that we were buying at cents. Just like we're buying Hedera, or we're buying Hedera at cents a few months ago. It went up to $3. Hedera can do that. In fact, we've even compared the Hedera chart with the Cardano chart before it had broken out. And so, because essentially why we teach phase analysis is because things rinse and repeat, right? These are all the pullbacks, and not even all the pullbacks, some of them, the majority of them that Cardano went on or endured on its road to doing a over 100x. Look at these. On the 19 spill, 73%, a shorter one at 18, then we've got one at 20, then we've got one at 23, then we've got one at 52. And actually that was right around when you broke out of this kind of resistance, just like what Hedera is doing today. It will bounce here, guys. That's my true conviction. And then you've got one 31%, 41%, 38%, 50%, etc., before it. So the road to getting that insane multiple out of Cardano back in the prior bull market was littered with brutal pullbacks. But if you could have endured them, you're not going to be able to time, in my opinion, every top and every bottom. And if you think you can, well, by all means. If you think you have, then please show something. But the road to get that kind of insane multiple was littered with brutal pullbacks. And on every one of these, and I personally can attest to this, the same actors showed up. It's over, no alt season, blah, 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 blah. You got to give things a little bit of time, you know. Ultimately, technically, when you look at Hedera from a kind of more macro perspective, it looks great, in my opinion, guys. This is Ethereum. Now, the reason I like Ethereum is because Ethereum back down here had about an $8 billion market cap, which is roughly, give or take, where Hedera is today. And then it went up to $500 billion. And it gave like a 60x. But look at Ethereum's road. The 19 spill, 70%, 29%, 19%, 36%, 28%, 32%, 41%, 64%, 35%. This is crypto. When people complain or say certain things, the only conclusion that I can derive is that they truly don't know what it is they're talking about in relation to the cryptocurrency space and how it works, right? This is an asset, and that journey literally is representative of Hedera's market cap at the moment and where it went to. And I think Hedera will wipe the floor with Ethereum on pretty much every single metric that you could weigh. Certainly it does already in every single metric you could weigh a blockchain or a DAG or a distributed ledger up by. It's going to continue to eat its dinner. And we're already seeing people jump ship from Ethereum and go over to Hedera and other projects out there. And I won't mention too many because people get a little bit salty, certainly in regards to an entire foundation rolling up and coming over to HBAR. I'm sure somebody will tag me in the comment section on that anyway. What I want to do now, guys, is talk fundamentally about just why I'm so impressed with Hedera. It's literally working with the largest institutions in the world. Thing is, an institution like Google can't come out and say, probably because they're involved with Hedera, this technology is amazing, we're going to use and implement it, etc., etc., or whoever it may be. Like, governments can't do the same thing right now. It's why at the kind of CryptoZar conference, it was so boring. But these guys are boring. That's what they do for a living, you know? They're not going to mention specific cryptos, but generally what they're talking about in regards to the innovation, these cryptos are going to enable. When you hear the likes of all the financial institutions say the world is tokenization tomorrow, everything's going to be tokenized, etc. How are they going to do that? They don't have their own blockchains. They're going to leverage the public ones like Hedera, which of course already has links to many large financial institutions, etc. And that's talking about tokenization. What we're talking about more broadly here is IoT, the Internet of Things, machines talking to machines, very iRobot-y, and AI. And in this arena, which is huge arenas, Hedera is working with NVIDIA, Intel, and there's links where we can actually see SpaceX satellites or SpaceX actually using and utilizing Hedera's technology. So what I want to do is play this clip from a recent conference. This came out 5 days ago. I've not really seen it played about, but then again, I don't really watch any other content on YouTube. Of Lehman actually talking about what's going on from an AI point of view. Then we'll look at what Seal Q had to say at, because it really stretches the importance of Hedera, the NASDAQ. Then we'll look at the SpaceX link, and then we'll sort of finish things up. So let's dive into this.
I want to move into sort of training risks. People hear about these giant numbers that are being spent on compute for training and things like that. Give us a sense for where this is headed.
So it is amazing. People are spending billions of dollars to just make it learn once. Right. It is just incredible that people are doing this. So these AI systems learn from text and images that are out there. They just go through it many, many times. It takes enormous amounts of processing power to do these, to build these models. And then you have things like Llama that after they've spent billions building it, you get it for free and you can run it at home. Right. And there's these little $3,000 machines now that you can buy that do a petaflop of processing power. The real problem, though, that we need to struggle with AI is what data did it train on? There is a huge problem now with people saying, wait, did you use copyrighted information? Did you use information you're not allowed to use? Did you use biased information? Is it racist? Or is it just leaving out by omission certain things that it should be? Do you have data that is well balanced, that is legal, that is safe? AI safety is a huge concern, and so the entire AI industry right now is struggling with this. And there have been court cases about people illegally using the wrong data. And what we're finding is that one of the central problems in AI across the board today is the legality of your data and being able to prove that you use the right kind of data to build your AI. And it's not a very simple answer either, because you don't just train your AI once. You may use some data to train an AI, and then you use additional data plus that AI to create a new AI. And so you may have a whole chain of AIs and a whole chain of data sets. And you might even be able to have multiple of them working together to train the next one. And so now you have a whole tree. You can have this very complex universe of data that ended up creating your AI. And then who is liable if one of those many data sets had illegal things in it? Who is liable for that? And who is supposed to check that? And so we have a number of companies now that are building on blockchain, building on Hedera, to do the provenance of that data. So this goes way beyond our industry, but our industry is what can help solve this problem of tracking and publishing and keeping and understanding where the data came from, who has audited the data, when they audited it, all the different versions of your models, and then being able to revert back to earlier ones, so version control in your models. So as an industry, it's fun. We talk about we want to run AI, which is cool and can do cool things. The bigger world, though, even when they're running AI without us, they need us to be doing the provenance of their AI. And so there's enormous things. We've heard announcements of Intel and NVIDIA were partnering up with Equity Lab to have chips that would be doing the training for the AI, and inside the chip itself, digitally signing off and saying, this is the exact data we used, and we can put this onto Hedera or some other blockchain to prove where it came from. Yeah, so this is a bigger issue, not just our industry.
Sort of we're providing the root of trust.
We are providing the trust. We are all about trust, and the whole world has always not really understood why blockchain trust matters. Right. Now they're starting to understand. They're starting to care.
They are starting to care, and they should care. This technology is going to be fundamental in tomorrow's world. I've been saying that for as long as I've been in this industry. And eventually, we're already seeing the fruits of that labor. We will see it to more of a degree. Dominic Williams was also there. I really like ICP. I'm a big fan of their projects. I think they address a lot of the kind of hypocrisies in the kind of Web3 arena that leverages largely Web2 technology. Let's now dive into a clip. We actually reported on this over on our Twitter. Guys, do sub to our Twitter. We went from like 10K subs on Twitter to like, what are we today, 22? In a very short period of time, we're only going to grow exponentially, and Allincrypto will become your one-stop shop as it relates to the cryptocurrency space. But this is Seal, Q, and WiseKey were given a platform at the NASDAQ closing bell. In regards to trust for anything, Hedera can be used and utilized. When it comes to AI, we find that's very important. Certainly the likes of NVIDIA, Intel are now leveraging Hedera. Now, let's play this, and then we'll relate this to SpaceX and what SealQ are doing and how they're leveraging Hedera. And when we talk about quantum computing, Hedera can essentially protect against this, which is huge, and it solves a hell of a lot of issues. But let's dive into this clip.
2 weeks ago, and there is a concern that technology is going exponential. Well, humans, we are linear, so we are not able to catch the exponentiality of technology. Therefore, we need to organize ourselves what is coming. In the next 5 years, quantum computers are arriving. This is not 15 years or 30 years, as somebody has said. This is actually 5 years, even less, as some companies like IBM, Google, and others, they are already developing quantum computers application and quantum computers. And therefore, you need to organize your defense mechanism. This is like a virus coming and you don't have a vaccine to fight the virus. So the same thing happens with cybersecurity. When that threat arrives, we need to be ready to defend that threat. And this is what SEALSQ is doing. A unique semiconductor, which is going to be showcased in a few minutes during the Quantum Day. A new chip, which is going to become the beginning of a new generation of computers. The computers that you will see in 5 years' time will have that electronic and chip inside. And that will create a situation where we will be able to defend the world against quantum. Quantum computers has unlimited computing capability. They can break all existing cryptos, RSA, triple DES, your credit card, your medical records, your hospitals, your airports will be compromised. And our objective is to put this technology in the United States. We have established presence in the United States with SEALSQ USA in Arizona.
Alex, our writer, actually did a write-up saying, could the US adopt this technology for defense? Well, it's not out the realms of possibility. I know, I do apologize about the blur there, guys. Alex, not Alex, our writer, Dominic Williams actually talks about replacing the kind of IT stack with DLT technology like ICP to essentially solve some of the problems that we have with the current IT stack and the vulnerabilities. And crypto is just so useful, far beyond finance, but we know just how impactful something like Hedera is in regards to the world of finance. In fact, let's tackle the semiconductors first. This is from SEALQ themselves. SEALQ partners with Hedera in the next generation of post-quantum semiconductors. Unbelievable, guys. Seal Corp, a company that focuses on developing and selling semiconductors, PKI, and post-quantum technology hardware and software products, today announced a strategic partnership with Hedera to develop next-generation quantum-resistant semiconductors, integrating cutting-edge security solutions to protect critical infrastructure in the emerging post-quantum world. SEALQ has commenced the quality and functionality testing phase of the initial batch of its revolutionary quantum resistance hardware and remains on track to begin production and development as scheduled in 2025. And WiseKey and, of course, SEALQ, they have successfully launched to orbit their satellites in conjunction with SpaceX. So we see Hedera all over the place. This is how well SEALQ's stock has done recently, and I think there's significantly more to come. HBAR is about 8% down today. It is brutal, guys. But remember what we said at the start of the video. This is support. Do not short support. Expect to bounce around support. If you're looking to pick more HBAR up, here's the time to do it, ladies and gentlemen. That is really it from me. We've not done a specific HBAR video in a little while. We wanted to do one, certainly on days like today when the price is down, everyone's feeling a little bit groggy, a little bit upset. Hang in there. Hedera has a very bright future ahead of it. And in regards to the volatility that we're currently seeing in the cryptocurrency space, it's part and parcel of the course, I'm afraid, guys. And remember what we looked at again at the start. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Have a fantastic day, week, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.